In today's video, we're flying the workhorse of Etihad's long-haul fleet, the Boeing 787-9, in their very competitive economy class on a 7.5-hour flight from Abu Dhabi to London. And I'll show you why I think Etihad offered the best value for money of the big three Middle Eastern airlines in what ended up being a pretty faultless flight, so buckle up and enjoy. We start off at Abu Dhabi Zayed Airport's stunning terminal building, where I just gotten off an 8-hour flight from Jakarta, which also happened to be on their 787. More on that in a bit. All I'll say for now is that it was a lovely flight, and the connection was very easy, so I was a happy customer. I also spotted this Airbus A380, and you can find a link to my review of that in the description below. By the way, Abu Dhabi's new-ish terminal, which opened in November 2023, is pretty great. First of all, it's visually stunning and feels very modern, spacious and bright. Also, the gate areas are some of the best of any airport I've been to, with easily enough seats to accommodate a plane load of people, and there are natural trees spotted about, which just make it a pleasant place to be. Also, this airport isn't ridiculously big like Qatar or Dubai, so connecting feels a lot easier, and you're unlikely to need to walk for miles on end to reach your gate. So overall, it's probably my favourite Middle Eastern airport to connect in. Here's our plane for today, or at least its rear end. A 9.9-year-old Boeing 787-9 registered A6BLA. Etihad have 48 of these in their fleet, so it's by far their most common aircraft type, making this very representative of the Etihad experience as a whole. Then boarding was exactly on time, but before we step on board, here are the stats and route map for today's flight, where we would fly over Iraq, Turkey and Europe to arrive about 10 minutes early at London Heathrow's Terminal 4, with a total flight time of 7.5 hours. They make you walk through the business cabin to give you a glimpse of the fine life, and I have to say, it's a really good seat. My previous flight was actually on Etihad's business class, so click the link in the description to watch that video too. The economy cabin, meanwhile, is in a free layout between two cabins, and it also felt pretty modern and fresh, good going for a 10-year-old aircraft. Looking at the seat map, you can see this aircraft is split into 8 first class seats, 28 business and 190 economy seats, and we were in 25J and K near the front of the second main cabin. Though all of the seats are pretty much the same, legroom is good and the pouch has multiple storage pockets, there's a folding tray table, the screen is a great size with a remote and power socket in every seat, and also the remote can be used as a second screen, so you can have a movie on the main screen, then the map on the remote screen too. The blanket is just your average economy blanket, but I have to say, Etihad's pillow are the best you'll find in any economy cabin. Very big, very plush, and the cover is extra soft, unlike the scratchy reusable covers many airlines use. Headphones are good too. I'm pretty sure they're also identical to the headphones Emirates provide. And of course, a nice leather adjustable headrest with big wings for a bit of extra privacy. I mainly chose these seats for the great wing view, that and the fact they were free to select. We pushed back exactly on time and the safety video started playing, and I won't bother show it to you because it's pretty boring and generic, but it does at least have a few nice visuals of Abu Dhabi mixed in, so it's not a complete snooze fest. In any case, it was a short taxi to the runway, so here are some shots of that as we trundle through the desert, with the takeoff coming up in a few seconds.
Your safety and wellness are our priority.
Once we were airborne, the main meal was served about an hour after takeoff, and I've mentioned in other reviews, but I think the food is really the standout of Etihad's economy class. This is my 5th flight with them now, and the food in both economy and business has been consistently great, with metal cutlery and these reusable trays which make it feel slightly more premium than many airlines, like British Airways for example. I got my signature ginger ale to drink, and they give everyone a small water bottle too. The starter was just fine, a slightly Mexican-inspired bean salad, and dessert was very good, some sort of sweet moussey thing whose flavour I couldn't quite identify. Then after the meal they serve tea or coffee, and it actually comes in an insulated paper cup, so you don't have to worry about burning your fingers trying to hold your scalding hot coffee. They also kept the cabin light throughout this daytime flight and didn't control the electronic window shades either, which I appreciate as someone who likes to look out the window. Many airlines will just dim the cabin the whole flight, even for a full daytime flight like this. Now I'll take a moment to cover Etihad's excellent entertainment system. And I didn't bother film it on this flight, so here's some footage from my previous flight in business class. The content is exactly the same after all. But long story short, the movie selection is excellent, TV selection is just fine, and the moving map is nothing special, and it loses points because you can't move it about, it only autoplays. They do have live TV though if you want to keep up with the news during your flight. And they have Wi-Fi too, free messaging speed for Etihad members, but I couldn't remember my password and didn't want to pay up, so didn't actually get a chance to use it. There's not much else to comment on really, as this flight can barely be classed as long haul at 7.5 hours, but as a pre-landing snack a little pizza and another drink were served, and the pizza tasted decent enough. Then it was time for our descent into London Heathrow, and I got really lucky with the weather and approach, so the landing has some incredible views of London, so stay tuned for that coming up now, or just skip to 8:36 in the video if you just want to hear my final review. As we arrive in London Heathrow, I should mention the most important part, price. I booked this as a multi-city trip from London to Singapore, then back from Jakarta to London, and it only cost £550 each, which included free seat selection and 35 kilograms of checked luggage, which is huge. I should also mention too, it was during the Singapore Grand Prix weekend, so prices were higher than usual. And I saw both Emirates and Qatar were much pricier, and direct with Singapore Airlines would have cost almost triple. So great value overall, and it was a really good flight, about as good as it gets for economy. My only comment for improvement is maybe they could provide faster Wi-Fi to everyone. After all, Qatar already have free unlimited Starlink on some planes, and even British Airways have announced they're adding free Starlink Wi-Fi in 2026. But that's really the only aspect where Etihad are lagging behind their competitors, and everything else was top notch. So I'll keep them at a very solid 9 out of 10 on my airline tier list. They briefly dropped to an 8 after a disappointing A380 flight I had, but now they're back near the top. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Next week will be a very exciting review of Oman Air's surprisingly good business class with a seat that puts many higher rated airlines to shame. Then after that I'll fly Oman Air and economy again. Then there will be 2 flights with Cathay Pacific, one being a 14-hour slog on their A350 from Hong Kong to London, which I enjoyed so much I've decided Cathay are now my favourite airline. So stay tuned for that and much more. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching, and goodbye.